what is your repeatable machine that turns attention into revenue? One wrong client can consume resources meant for 5 ideal clients.
Building a business isn't a straight line, it's a masterclass in resilience. You're listening to Lesson Learned, your weekly deep dive into the minds of creators and risk takers. We are breaking down the strategies that worked, the mistakes that didn't, and the insights that changed everything. I'm Teodor Mincu, founder of MessengerOS, your email automation platform, and it's time to level up. My guest today is Marius Lăzărescu, co-founder of Today's, a digital marketing agency. Welcome to Lesson Learned, Marius. Please introduce yourself and tell us a few words about Today's.
Hello, Theo. Nice to be here. I'm Marius. I'm an entrepreneur since 2005. I've been involved in multiple ventures, I think more than 6. And what stayed constant is this: the game is never just tactics. It's systems, people, and trust. I can also tell you that, as you may know, I'm a high D from the DISC framework. So I'm direct, I'm action first, and I'm results driven. Outside business, I'm an Ironman athlete and an investor in stocks and real estate. Endurance sport taught me that consistency beats intensity. And investing taught me compounding. Same rules that apply in business overall.
Tell us a few words about Today's.
Founder of Today's Agency, a performance marketing agency active in several countries, based in Romania, and co-founder of Digital Atelier Studio, which is a digital media buying agency. Basically, we help companies grow profitably by building a predictable growth engine, acquisition and measurement, in addition to conversion. What I can say, it's an important belief of myself. Marketing is just a multiplier, and if the product is weak or the background is chaotic, marketing only accelerates the moment where people discover your mediocrity.
Correct, I agree. So give us some hot takes from your domain.
Well, I was thinking about this, and I think we have over 1,000 contracts signed during the years. And I can tell you honestly, not so good truth. Most companies don't have an acquisition system. They have tactics. Well, the modern advantage is not a channel, it's a system. Clear ICP, clear offer, clear funnel, tracking, and weekly iteration. Entrepreneurs want the best channel, but the real question is, what is your repeatable machine that turns attention into revenue? If you don't have a system, scaling spans just scale randomness. So this is my take number one, my hot take number one.
Okay, one question. So a system doesn't mean just some automation in popular automation platforms like an A10 or I don't know, all kind of what is popular now. When a system can be networking, can be meetings, or is just called outreach, what do you include in systems?
I think a system would be better viewed as an entire puzzle made of working pieces. One working piece is your networking approach. Another working piece is your sales development approach. So basically, a system is the sum of those pieces. The system allows you to have a working mechanism, an engine, and you should consider yourself as a mechanic which overviews this engine, and from time to time maybe put some oil where it's needed.
Nice comparison. Okay, tell us more. Do you have another hot take?
Number 2 is about being data-driven. And as I'm sure that you have visited Google Analytics recently, and probably most of your audience has, you have a drop-down with the period, the interval that you will choose to analyze the data. Guess what? It's only for the past. It's not for the future.
Of course.
And everyone wants to be data-driven, but the data is the rear-view mirror. Data tells you what happened, not why happened, and not what will happen next. And so if you only follow dashboards, you're driving while looking only in the mirror. You need customer conversations, genuine conversations, qualitative insights, and judgment. And combine this hard data with real-world feedback and your experienced intuition.
Thank you. Let's go back in time and please help us with some advice in customer acquisition, go to market. What are your lessons learned? For example, how did you get your first clients back in the day?
Well, in the beginning, it was a real hassle. I was doing outreach myself. I was calling. I was doing cold calling. I was getting rejected by so many assistants that I started to purchase books from Amazon regarding the basics of cold calling. I have nowadays, I think I have quite a big stack of books, and yeah, doing outreach, establishing meetings, and learning fast. I treated that like training, daily repetition, no excuses, and when I was thinking to quit at the end of the day, do one more call. One more call, get one more meeting. Early on, I also invested in relationships. Networking became a long-term growth asset. Believe it or not, I was thinking after my first 6 months of networking, part of one of the largest networking organizations in the world, what am I looking here? What am I doing here every morning, every week? And after 6 months, I got a big contract which paid for the membership for several years. It was the hidden gem. Consistent follow-up and one-to-one meetings outside the group, the networking group, that's where the trust and context are built. Those are my tips regarding the networking.
Can you tell us what didn't work at the beginning for you?
Well, at the beginning, you need to have trust, and you need to grow that trust. Also, you need to allocate time without thinking of results to happen. Don't try to sell. Try to listen, and don't forget, as one of my mentors was saying, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, and you have to use it in the same proportion. If you're a good networker, you have to talk mostly 20% of the time.
What were your biggest mistakes in customer acquisition? During
Well,
the
in the
time?
beginning, in the beginning, you don't have enough money for the day-to-day operations, for paying salaries and taking the wrong clients. Of course, wrong after some time, but good enough in the beginning. But I think taking the wrong clients early because they had money was one of the mistakes. That's not revenue, that's distraction.
That's survival, maybe.
One wrong client can consume resources meant for 5 ideal clients. And having bad qualification filters, not defining who we're not for. It's one of those rules that you have to consider. Having focus is choosing when to say no and try to say no as often as possible. Also, believing marketing is the solution when product or delivery is the real bottleneck. And last but not least, chasing too many channels at once without a weekly cadence and clear learning loop. Sending newsletters, attending too many networking events, doing cold calling, asking for referrals, starting some advertising tests, different channels, LinkedIn, Google Ads, Facebook, and so on. Too many, too soon, not enough data to draw a conclusion.
Yeah, but you have to try them at the beginning, right? So you need to
Yeah,
try them
but
and
try
see
them and
what
try them
does
one
work.
by one.
Yeah. And maybe have a mindset to say, I will try this channel, I don't know, 5 or 10 times. I will see the results. If it works, I'll continue. If not, I mean,
Yeah,
having the
that's a
mindset
good.
of trying it, not just, oh, a new event, let's go. Oh, a new something, let's go.
Yeah, that's
Right?
right. And to put things in perspective regarding what you said, I think the best approach is to have a plan. Sounds easy and sounds, I don't know, that everyone is doing this already, but they are not. Have a plan and write down what are the meetings or what are the channels you're going to try this month and what would be the minimum result that will have that effort to be continued or stopped. Write this when you are rational and analytic before things get to be more emotional and complicated, because things will get more complicated no matter what.
Yeah.
So start as simple as possible.
Okay, let's move on to customer retention. How do you get your current client to buy again from you? What are the most important things?
Well, an unspoken truth is that, in my opinion, retention starts before the contract. If you filter for fit and set expectation clearly and early, you're already doing part of that retention. Another item to consider is that this is like a regular relationship between two human beings. The honeymoon ends in about 2 to 3 months. So you have to do something during that honeymoon in order to get more than 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
Expectations are driven by emotion in the early days, but by reality after 2-3 months. So please consider that as a honeymoon.
Okay.
Also, focus on outcomes, not activity, because clients stay when they see progress and they trust the process. There's an old saying about clients, and I think it's also good enough in 2026. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How much you care about their business, how much you care about their efforts, their struggle. And until then, it doesn't matter how many qualifications you have, what's your portfolio, and so on.
Okay. Marius, have you ever been broke?
Yeah, well, I have to admit it was a hard time. I think around the crisis in 2008, it was a turning point when I was realizing that hope is not a strategy and you need buffers, you need discipline, you need a plan. And the pivot, it's always the same. Reduce chaos, increase clarity. Cut what doesn't work, focus on what you control, and build a weekly operating rhythm. Inspired by Ray Dalio's framing, pain and reflection equals progress. I use that pain as data, not as drama. And the growth after this, let's say, broke period came from stricter client selection. Of course, after cutting down the cost and firing a lot of people from my team, that's the reality, and having stronger delivery systems and consistency in acquisition.
Thank you. It's good to know that you had a way to come back, and we are talking here together again after so many years.
Yeah, well, if you want it real bad, you'll find a way, one way or the other. And I'm looking at people, at entrepreneurs who don't find a way, and I'm thinking, is he thinking 24/7 at the problem, at the challenge? Does he want that real bad, or is just a nice to have for him?
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell us more about your difficult point in your journey of entrepreneurship? What was your lowest point?
Yeah, believe it or not, it was when I had the agency at around 15 or 17 employees. Some are calling this the Death Valley because, according to my mentor, which coached a lot of agencies, Mr. Craven, the profit at 1 or 2 employees can be found at 30 plus. In between, there's this valley, especially between 12 and 20. Either you go ahead and you learn that you have to get procedures in place and systems, or you get broke, or you slim down. So you need business stability. And my key learning was that the entrepreneur isn't the hero who does everything. The entrepreneur has to be the builder of the systems that lets the team keep the fire alive. And in order to do that, you have to live with the fact that you will not deliver with, 9 or 10 out of 10. You have to settle with 7 out of 10 in order to delegate and to have people being autonomous.
Okay. And how does success looks like? Let's go to the positive side.
In my opinion, after all those years, success is when the machine works, when the team is growing, when the team is learning. Because if you want to develop as a company and be up to date, you have to have this mindset along the team to learn, to constantly learn, and to watch if you, as the founder, are not the real bottleneck. It's a hard truth. You need maybe some therapy to deal with that, or maybe a mentor who is giving you the hard truth. Also, success is alignment with health, with family, with discipline, and I learned that from Ironman mentality and long-term investment.
Thank you. It was a very nice discussion until this point. Let's move forward and try to quantify a few lessons learned for that you would tell to young entrepreneurs, or maybe to yourself if you were to start the same business today.
All right. Build a system, not the hero story. And I think this applies after the first 3 years, because in the first 3 years, you don't really know what you're doing. So If your business needs you to save it every week, you don't have a business. You just have a job. Implement weekly cadence, ownership, and scoreboard. So results don't depend on motivation. Number 2, no wrong clients, only weak filters. Because most client problems are qualification problems. Properly define your ICP and your anti-ICP and enforce boundaries. Turning down a rich client because they would consume resources meant for ideal clients. Don't forget, a bad client equals about 5 good clients in terms of effort. Number 3, marketing amplifies reality. Fix the product and backend first. Ads don't solve mediocrity. They just spread it faster. Before scaling spend, fix delivery, fix onboarding, fix support, and fix conversion bottlenecks. Number 4, data is just the rear view mirror. Use judgment and customer truth. Dashboards show what happened in the past, not what's missing. Pair metrics with conversation and experiences. A campaign that looked good in clicks but failed in sales until you deliver the qualification mismatch. Do some interview, call some clients, do some mystery shopping with your friends. Number 5, don't digitize chaos. Avoid digital bureaucracy. Tools don't create order, process does. Build a workflow first, then choose tools that enforce it. CRM that drives qualification and next steps and accountability, not just an expensive contact list. Good luck.
Thank you. Interesting lessons. I see the focus is mainly on getting the right client and focusing on the right ICP, right? This is what I
think this is the most common mistake in sales, trying to sell everything to anyone.
Yeah.
And there's this old saying, I don't know the path to success, but the path to failure is trying to please anyone.
Everybody. And the thing is that, some companies are finding their ICP or product market fit after a few years, or for others, it's like a permanent evolution. So maybe you can start with a first an ICP at the beginning, a niche, and maybe you realize it's not good for you, or the niche is too small, or maybe, I don't know.
Of course, you should do that, but let's not forget that 90% of the population doesn't have a written plan. And having your plan written and followed every day gets you to double the chances of success.
How do you know it's a good plan? Maybe you write a plan, it's going nowhere. It's
Having
not the right
a
one.
bad plan is much better than having no plan.
Correct, correct. I understand, but still, maybe you're going.
Give yourself, after writing the plan, give yourself a timeline, and after 7 days, after 21 days, what should I expect out of this? What success looks like after 21 days? Write that down before emotion kicks in, before there's this thought of, oh, I invested so much time, why should I quit now?
Yeah, I know what you are talking about. Okay, thank you very much. If you want to add something else, if not, I think.
Well, just to have another Ray Dalio's quote, which is one of my favorite authors: think yourself as the mechanic looking after the system.
Thank you. Perfect. This is what I will remember.
All right.
Thank you very much for participating to Lesson Learned, and I hope some new founders or even the ones that are already in the business will find those lessons useful, and why not follow them. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you also. Bye.